You tell me when we're live, yeah?
Yeah, we're live.
Okay. Good morning or good afternoon, depending what time of the day it is and where you are right now for you. And welcome to this podcast. And of course, we're joined by our co-host, Drew. Hiya, Drew.
How's it going? You right?
Yeah, fantastic. So this is Terry and Drew Edwards from Make More Placements. And I want to share some with you that what I'm going to say to you is going to sound a little bit counterintuitive, but kind of bear with me. The subject today, if you want to get a competitive advantage, if you want to win more business, if you want to increase your sales, look at what your competitors are doing and then do the complete opposite. Now, I know that, as I say, that sounds counterintuitive, but bear with me. Just again, full disclosure, this quote comes from the legendary Earl Nightingale. The exact quote was, watch what everyone else is doing, do the opposite. The majority are always wrong. And just for those who don't know, Earl Nightingale was a motivational speaker back in the 40s and 50s, and he inspired the likes of Anthony Robbins and Jim Rohn and Brian Tracy and so on. But let me explain exactly what I mean by that. Let's look at the majority of recruitment and search firm owners around the world. But here are the facts. 82% struggle to grow and will eventually decline. 13% grow, but grow very slowly. 4% do slightly better than average, and 1% of the entire recruitment and search businesses around the world do exceptionally well. The bottom line is the vast majority of recruitment and search business owners aren't making it and are falling well short of where they want their business to be. Drew, thoughts on that, buddy?
Yeah, again, it's numbers that we've had before. I think intellectually most people know that in any given industry the majority are going to struggle, but I think one of the big mistakes that, or one of the things that holds a lot of recruitment and search business owners back is that they're so scared of stepping outside of what for them is the industry norms, and that's obviously why obviously we know that to get the clients you want, you have to stand out in the marketplace. You have to be different. You have to be better. And you can't be different or better if you're doing the same things as everybody else. But it's one of the things that people are so scared to step outside the lines of, what the industry norms or how it's normally done in their industry, whether it's, down to pricing, the fee they charge, the terms they work under, whether it's retained or exclusive or contingency. One of the big sort of things we always hear is, people in my industry don't do it that way, or people in my sector don't do it that way.
Yeah,
that's the point. That's why you need to be.
That's absolutely right. So let's go into a bit more detail on what the majority are doing. So let's start at the very top. Look at the majority of recruitment and search firm owners' website, and they all look very similar. What they do is they talk about themselves and what they do and how long they've been in business and what their mission statement is. A couple of things here. First of all, your potential client has absolutely no interest in how long you've been in business, what your mission statement is, and the clients that you've worked with previously. No interest whatsoever. Anything that your clients and potential candidates are interested in is what you can do for them. The second one is when you ask recruitment to search business owners, well, what's your website based on? They say, well, what we did is we looked at some of our competitors and we kind of designed our websites around those. Think about that. Remember I said 82% of recruitment to search business owners, businesses rather, won't be around for much longer because they're struggling. And you're looking at their website and you're assuming that it's working. You're assuming that it generates leads. You're assuming that it should do what it should do. Another example would be LinkedIn profile. Again, very similar. Look at majority of recruiters' website, all pretty much the same, talking about themselves and how long they've been doing it and that kind of thing. One of the classic ones here is they talk about what they do and they say, if you want further information, please contact us. There's no contact details on there. They're making the assumption that the hiring manager will read their LinkedIn profile and then do some research to find their website and whatever. They won't. Before I go on, anything to add to those two so far, Drew?
No, nothing to add.
Okay. The next one is majority of recruitment to search business owners work on contingency, i.e. they will get paid if they find the right candidates. So the majority of recruitment to search business owners are competing with other recruiters on the same job order, and they think that's okay. But one of the other sad facts is majority of recruitment and search business owners don't know their numbers. So here's some numbers for that you may not know. Between 10 and, sorry, my apologies. The average contingent recruiter will fill between 10 and 40% of the job roles they work on. Let me repeat that. The average recruitment business owner will fill between 10 and 40% of the job roles they work on. Now, some will claim they actually fill more than that, but if you get them to check their numbers, which they don't often, that isn't the case. But let's say that you're filling 50%. Let's say, hell, you're filling 60%. Whatever number it is, if you're working at times and you're not getting paid, that's not a good model. What the minority are doing, they're working on a retained basis. So they insist that the client pays them upfront a percentage of the fee before they even start working. So if I said to you, come and work for me, but I'm not going to pay you for 60, 70% of the time, I can kind of guess your response. But at some level, you think it's okay for a client to say that to you. Just to let you know, minority are not doing that. So ultimately what that means is they will work less and they will earn more. So if you're only filling 30% of the roles you're working on, you need to work on 10 job orders to fill 3. A retained recruiter will work on 1 job order or at least get paid something up front. Anything to add to that, Drew?
Yeah, I mean, look, we could talk about contingency and retained all day. And I think, again, it's one of the big ones where, the immediate reaction is going to be, oh, but no one in my industry does it that way. Again, that's exactly why you should be doing it that way. Yeah,
absolutely right. And by the way, you're right. The majority are not doing it. Not doing it on a retained basis. You want to look at that. Another classic is terms of business. I was talking to somebody the other day, and she's just filled a big role, and she's delighted with it. However, the candidate is somebody based in the UK, and the candidate's on 3 months' notice. So she's saying that she probably won't get paid for another 4 months. I said, why would you do that? She goes, well, that's our terms of business. We've just got a standard terms of business, and we will invoice when the candidate starts. Just to let you know, minority do it completely different, and they will get paid upon offer and acceptance. Just want to think about that. That lady did that, has done the work today, but she's not going to get paid for another 4 months. Another example is fees. If you ask most recruiters what your fees are, they say it's about the industry norm. Some recruiters say, oh, I know. I say, what's your fees? They go 15%. And I say, is there any reason why it's so cheap? And they say, that's what everybody else charges. Think about that for a minute. Just step back, step out of what you're doing. If everybody else is charging 15%, you're saying, if I don't charge such a low fee, or whatever that fee is, by the way, I'm not going to get the business. So you're going to charge the same as everybody else. But there's no evidence that low price recruiters get most of the business. No evidence at all. We all know there are recruiters out there that do recruitment at fixed fees I've heard of recruiters doing it £500 or $700 fixed fee, regardless of the salary. And I know they're not dominating the market. Not all your clients buy on price and price alone. Don't get me wrong, a percentage do. It's about 20%, by the way. That does mean that 80% of your clients do not buy on price and price alone. Dude, again, thoughts, observations on that, buddy?
Yeah, again, I think pricing is a big one. I think most people, when they decide how much they're going to charge, they look at what the industry norm is and tend to pick a middle number around there, or often a lower number. Again, that's what the majority are doing. I think, again, one of the big complaints that we get when recruiters reach out to us is I'm sick and tired of being seen as a commodity by my ideal clients who sort of put me in the box with every other recruiter, make me compete with them, pay me, making me have a war on price with them. Again, if you don't want to be seen as a commodity, you need to be doing things differently to what the majority of people in your industry are doing. You need to be prepared to step outside, the norms, be different, do the opposite.
Yeah. Majority of recruiters are selected by the hiring managers. So in other words, the hiring manager would decide, I'm going to work with these 4 recruiters, whatever. The minority are saying, no, you don't select us. We will actually select you. So they do things completely different. And they will tell the hiring manager that you may not qualify to work with us, just to let you know. They will say to the hiring manager, we're not the cheapest recruiter, but we are certainly one of the best. As you probably acknowledge, Mr. or Mrs. Hiring Manager, you can't have both good and cheap. And they're the kind of conversations that are having them with them. Majority of recruitment business owners use 3, maybe 6 different ways of getting business. Let's have a quick look at them. Word of mouth, networking, cold calling, NPCs or selling in a candidate. I heard a term I heard used the other day. Sending messages on LinkedIn. Probably that's about it. The minority of recruiters are using 30, 40, 50 different ways for getting a hiring manager, to engage a hiring manager. The minority never ever cold call and beg for business. The minority never have any issue about getting business. They have more leads than they can actually handle. Another one is I touched on is not knowing your numbers. The majority of recruitment and search business owners don't know their numbers. They don't know what percentage of job orders they fill. They don't know what the average cost per placement is. They don't know what percentage of if they've got a team of their consultants are underperforming. They just don't know the numbers. They don't know exactly how many decision makers they would need to speak to on a regular and consistent basis to win business. Think about that for a minute. If you knew, right, for every 5 decision makers I speak to, I'm going to get a piece of business. Each piece of business is worth to me whatever it is in your local currency. If you knew those numbers, but majority of recruitment and search business owners don't. The minority do, and they will tell you exactly what those numbers are. So they know exactly what they need to do to generate whatever they need to generate. Drew, thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, look, each one of these that you're going through, we could probably do a separate podcast on each of them. So I don't want to sort of go into too much detail.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, I won't add anything. We'll just do another show another week.
Yeah. The majority of recruitment and search business owners have got a team. They will have percentages of their team that are underperforming. If they look at their numbers very carefully, those underperforming consultants are actually costing them money. The majority will put up with the underperforming. Hell, there's even the percentages of recruitment and search business owners out there right now. What they will actually do is some months they won't pay themselves because there isn't enough income generated to pay themselves, but they will pay the salary of those underperforming consultants. Think about that for a minute. That's what the majority will do. The minority will go, hell will freeze over first before I do that. See, they have higher standards and they say that's not going to happen. Majority of recruitment business owners, when they set up in business, they have ambitious goals and desires for the business and what they want to do for the business. Sadly, the majority then lower their standards. It doesn't quite go how they want it to be, but they settle for less. And they kind of accept that's just the way it is. The minority say, no, that's well below my standards. I set this business up with a certain purpose and certain objectives and goals, and I'm going to stick to that. And I'm going to achieve my goals that I first designed when I first set this business up. So if you want to do exceptionally well, look at what the majority are doing and then decide to do the opposite, because the majority, 82%, approximately 80%, are actually struggling. Anything to add to that, Drew?
No, again, I think you covered it well.
Okay. So look, that really is it today. I just want to share with you what the minority are doing. They're doing things differently. They're thinking things differently. And what we've just given you there, just a snapshot of some of the things that you could be doing. If you'd like to discover more, let me give some details where you can go and find some more information. If you go to makemoreplacements.com/apply, and there's a letter there that tells you exactly what you can do to get the business of your dreams. So that's makemoreplacements.com/apply, and discover what the minority are doing and why they're enjoying more success than the majority. That sounded like more sex then, didn't it? But I meant to say more success than the majority. That's it for today, folks. Until next time, Drew. First of all, thank you very much, Drew, for your input and for joining us. Until next time, take care, take action, and be relentless. Cheers, folks.